The story begins in a village where people lived in constant fear of a terrifying dragon that wreaked havoc upon them time and again. But this was no ordinary dragon. It was a human dragon, a creature that could take the form of a man at times and transform into a fearsome dragon whenever it pleased. To protect themselves and keep the dragon calm, the villagers made a deal with it. They would offer young girls to the dragon, and in return, it would not attack their village. To summon the dragon, an ancient song was sung. Upon hearing it, the dragon would appear and take the chosen girls to a mystical island. No one had ever been able to kill the dragon because it resided on an enchanted island that could only be reached by those who truly loved someone. As per this long-standing tradition, one day a young girl was chosen as a sacrifice. The villagers sang the song, and soon a massive dragon soared through the sky, capturing the girl and flying away with her. But this girl was deeply loved by a brave warrior. Determined to save her, he set out on a perilous journey to find the dragon's island. He searched tirelessly night and day, and after much effort he finally discovered the hidden island. However, upon reaching there, he was devastated to find that the girl he had come to rescue had already been killed by the dragon. Enraged by grief and fury, the warrior decided to stay hidden on the island, waiting for the right moment to strike. Then, one day, he seized his chance. In a fierce battle, he slew the dragon and avenged his beloved. The warrior then returned to his village and announced that he had killed the dragon. This meant that the villagers no longer had to sacrifice their young girls. Overjoyed, they celebrated his victory and honored him with the title Dragon Slayer. Years passed. The story now shifts to the village's king, who tells his daughter, Princess Mira, that he has arranged her marriage to Igor, the grandson of the legendary Dragon Slayer. However, Mira is not ready for marriage, but she has no choice but to obey her father's command. Finally, the wedding day arrives. Mira dresses in a beautiful new outfit and is placed in a boat to be sent across the water to her soon-to-be husband, Igor. As Igor begins to pull the boat's rope towards him, the villagers start singing an ancient song, the very same song that had once been used to summon the dragon. The villagers believed that since the dragon had been slain long ago, there was no danger in singing the song anymore. They continued celebrating the wedding joyfully. But suddenly, strong winds began to howl, and out of nowhere, a massive, terrifying black dragon emerged from the sky. In an instant, it swooped down, grabbed Mira, and carried her away. Everyone stood in shock as Igor and Mira's father desperately tried to save her, but it was too late. The dragon took Mira to its island and left her inside a dark cave. Mira sat in the dark cave, trembling with fear. The cave was formed from massive dragon skeletons, making the atmosphere even more terrifying. She was extremely distressed and desperately tried to find a way out, but all her attempts failed. Exhausted and hopeless, she finally sat down inside the cave. Just then, she heard a voice from a nearby cave. It was a boy's voice speaking to her. Mira immediately asked him his name, but the boy replied, "I don't remember my name." Mira assumed that the dragon must have kidnapped him a long time ago, causing him to forget his identity. So she decided to name him Arman. Mira then told Arman that she wanted to escape from the island. However, Arman shook his head and warned her, "No one can escape from here. The dragon is too dangerous. The only way anyone can come to this island is if they truly love you, because this place is enchanted." Hearing this, Mira became furious. Just then, the dragon appeared. Mira shivered with fear and instinctively stepped back into the cave. The cave was too small for the dragon to reach inside, so after a while it left. Mira called out to Arman, trying to talk to him again, but there was no response. Worried, she decided to go into his cave to find him. She feared that the dragon might have killed him. Inside the cave, she kept calling out his name, searching frantically. But suddenly, the dragon attacked. Mira ran for her life as the dragon spewed fire at her, trying to burn her alive. She kept running until she reached the edge of a cliff. Below her there was nothing but deep, dark water. Just then, Arman appeared and urged her not to step back. But Mira, now suspicious, felt that Arman might be working with the dragon. In her panic, she accidentally took a step backward and lost her balance, falling off the cliff. Without a second thought, Arman jumped after her. But as they fell, something shocking happened. Armand's body began to transform. His limbs stretched, his skin darkened, and in the blink of an eye, he had turned into a massive dragon. Mira was stunned. The dragon caught her mid-air as they both plunged downward. When they hit the ground, Armand returned to his human form, but he was unconscious. Mira, on the other hand, was unharmed, but now she was terrified. Everything became clear to her. Armand was the dragon who had kidnapped her. She now wanted to escape as soon as possible before Armand transformed again and attacked her, but there was no visible way out. Panicked and enraged, she picked up a rock, ready to strike him. But just as she was about to attack, she hesitated. Armand had just saved her life. A thought crossed her mind. Perhaps he wasn't an evil dragon after all. Instead of killing him, she decided to help him. Wrapping him in clothes, she dragged him back inside the cave to tend to him. But suddenly Armand started transforming into a dragon again. However, he was too weak and injured. Unable to fully shift, he collapsed, unconscious once more. The next day, Mira tries to escape from the island, but all she sees around her is water, and there is no boat in sight. Left with no choice, she returns to the cave where Armand is still unconscious. She carefully applies medicinal herbs to his wounds, and then falls asleep. That night, Mira has a dream. She sees Igor coming to rescue her. Overjoyed, she runs to him and embraces him, but suddenly, Igor's face changes. It's Armand instead. Terrified, Mira wakes up from her dream. As she opens her eyes, she sees that morning has arrived. To her surprise, Armand has placed a blanket over her and left some fruits for her to eat. Mira hesitantly eats the fruit and then walks over to where Armand is catching fish. She slowly starts to believe that Armand will not harm her. Days pass and Mira and Armand spend time together, gradually becoming friends. However, Armand fears that he might transform into a dragon and hurt Mira. One evening, he finally tells Mira his story. He says, "I used to live on this island with my father. My father was a dragon, and he wanted me to embrace my dragon side too. But I wanted to live as a human. I chose to stay in my human form. But one day, a dragon slayer killed my father while he was in his human form." Mira listens intently as Armand continues, "That dragon slayer was the man who had killed a dragon for his love. After my father's death, I was consumed by grief and rage, and that rage turned me into a dragon. That's when I discovered the dark truth about my ancestors. My father and the other dragons were not good beings. They used to abduct girls from villages and bring them to this island to burn them alive in a ritual. And from the ashes of each girl, a new child was born." Armand looks at Mira with sorrow in his eyes and says, "I was also born this way, a hybrid of human and dragon, a dragon-human. When I stay in my human form, I suppress the beast within me. But sometimes, against my will, I transform into a dragon. When that happens, I lose control. To prevent myself from harming humans, I used to lock myself inside a cave on this island. Once I transformed, I couldn't escape from there until I turned back into a human." Armand then reveals, "Everything was under control, but Mira, when your people sang that ritual song, I lost control. I turned into a dragon and brought you to this island." Mira, still longing to return to her village, confidently tells Armand, "I am sure that my fiancé Igor will come to rescue me." But Armand replies, "Only someone who truly loves you can find this island. If Igor truly loves you, he will come." Meanwhile, Armand wishes to live as a human forever and suppress his dragon side completely because he fears hurting Mira. Seeing his struggle, Mira teaches him how to live like a human. As they spend more time together on the island, they get to know each other deeply, and gradually they fall in love. However, Mira is still afraid. What if Armand turns into a dragon again? What if he loses control and hurts her? One night, Mira has a terrifying nightmare. In it, Armand, in his dragon form, tries to kill her. Scared, Mira wakes up screaming. But as soon as she opens her eyes, she sees Armand standing in front of her. Mira had always feared that Armand might turn into a dragon and take her life. That's why she secretly starts preparing a boat to escape from the island. However, Armand soon finds out about her plan. This deeply saddens him because he had started believing that Mira had fallen in love with him and would stay with him forever. But now, he realizes that Mira only wants to leave. Armand approaches Mira and softly says, "If you want to go, then go. I won't stop you." Hearing his words, Mira feels shattered. She never wanted to leave him alone, but the fear of the dragon compels her to take the boat and leave the next day. Armand watches her go, but doesn't try to stop her. After Mira leaves, Armand doesn't know how to go on living. It was Mira who had taught him to be a better person, to control himself, but now he is completely alone. Meanwhile, Igor is sailing with his men, searching for Mira for many days, but he can't find the right path. Igor never truly loved Mira, and she didn't love him either. That's why he was unable to reach the magical island. Then, suddenly, they see a boat approaching. It's Mira. Igor is delighted to see her and immediately asks about the dragon. Mira lies, saying, "The dragon died after crashing into a rock while bringing me here." Then she asks Igor and his men to take her home. When Mira returns, her family is overjoyed to see her alive. A few days later, her wedding with Igor is rescheduled. On the wedding day, as part of a ritual, Mira is placed in a boat, and Igor slowly pulls it toward him using ropes. But tears fill Mira's eyes. She realizes that she loves Armand, whether he is a human or a dragon. Living without him is impossible for her. Suddenly, in front of everyone, Mira declares, "I cannot marry Igor, because I love Armand the dragon." The entire village is shocked. Igor, enraged, starts pulling the boat toward him forcefully. Meanwhile, after Mira left, Armand had completely broken down. He had lost the will to live. Standing on the edge of a high cliff, he prepares to end his life. But at that very moment, Mira begins singing the ritual song to summon the dragon. As soon as Armand hears the song, his body begins transforming once again into a dragon. The next moment, the dragon soars into the sky and flies toward Mira at full speed. The dragon grabs Mira and takes her back to the island, preparing to burn her in his fire. But this time, Mira does not fear him. With tears in her eyes, she says, "I love you, Armand, both in your human form and as a dragon." Hearing this, Armand is stunned. For the first time, he is able to control his dragon form. He approaches Mira and rests his head in her lap. After this, Mira and Armand get married. Years later, we see that they are still living happily on the island. Now, they also have a lovely daughter. Armand no longer harms anyone, and the villagers no longer fear him because Mira's love has tamed the dragon within him and made him a better person. And with that, the story comes to an end. Friends, if you were in Mira's place, would you have trusted Armand? Share your thoughts in the comment box below. Friends, thank you so much for watching the video till the end. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and share it. And for more movie explanations, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Until then, bye-bye.